Why do some people keep growing year after year, while others stay exactly the same? It's not because they're smarter, luckier, or more talented. According to John C. Maxwell, the biggest difference is one decision: choosing intentional growth. In this video, you'll discover the 15 powerful laws that can completely change your mindset, your career, and your life. If you apply even one of these laws, your future may never be the same. Introduction: The 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth by John C. Maxwell is one of the world's most influential books on personal development. The book explains that success is not something that happens by chance, it is the result of continuous, intentional growth. Maxwell argues that every person has hidden potential, but potential alone is never enough. The people who achieve extraordinary results are those who deliberately invest in themselves every day through learning, self-awareness, discipline, relationships, and consistent action. The book is organized into 15 practical laws, with each law teaching a different principle that helps readers become better leaders, professionals, and human beings. Whether you want to succeed in business, engineering, leadership, or your personal life, these laws provide a roadmap for becoming the best version of yourself. Throughout this series, we'll explore each law in detail and learn how to apply it in everyday life. Chapter 1: The Law of Intentionality. Growth doesn't just happen. Main idea: most people believe they will naturally become better with age. But John C. Maxwell says this is one of the biggest myths. People grow older automatically, but they do not grow better automatically. Personal growth only happens when you intentionally decide to improve every day. The difference between successful people and average people is not talent, it is the decision to grow on purpose. Without meaningful progress. Story: The Power of Do It Now. Maxwell shares a story from his early life when he attended a seminar by motivational speaker E. W. Kenyon. One simple phrase completely changed his mindset. Do it now. For 6 months, Maxwell repeated these 3 words every morning when he woke up and every night before sleeping. Those simple words created a sense of urgency. Instead of saying, "I'll start tomorrow," he began taking action immediately. That habit transformed the way he lived and became one of the foundations of his success. His message is clear. Dreams don't die because people lack ability. They die because people keep saying, "later." The 8 growth gaps. Maxwell explains why people fail to grow. Most people fall into one or more of these growth gaps. 1. The assumption gap. I'll naturally improve with time. Reality: time makes you older, not better. 2. The knowledge gap. I don't know how to grow. The solution is simple: start learning through books, mentors, and experience. 3. The timing gap. It's not the right time. The perfect time never comes. Today is always better than tomorrow. 4. The mistake gap. I'm afraid I'll fail. Failure is part of learning. Every successful person has failed many times. 5. The perfection gap. I need the perfect plan. Waiting for perfection keeps you from ever starting. 6. The inspiration gap. I don't feel motivated. Successful people act first. Motivation usually follows action. 7. The comparison gap. Others are better than me. Stop comparing yourself with others. Compare yourself with yesterday's version of yourself. 8. The expectation gap. I thought growth would be easy. Growth requires patience, discipline, and consistency. Intentional growth versus accidental growth. Maxwell compares 2 types of people. Accidental growth. Waits for opportunities. Depends on luck. Learns only after mistakes. Gives up easily. Lives comfortably. Intentional growth. Takes responsibility. Learns every day. Builds good habits. Keeps improving. Never stops learning. His message is simple. The only difference between a rut and a grave is the length. Lesson from Chapter 1. If you want extraordinary results, schedule your own growth every day. Read. Learn. Practice. Improve. Don't wait until you feel ready. Start today. Chapter 2: The Law of Awareness. You must know yourself to grow yourself. Main idea. Before you can become a better version of yourself, you must first understand who you are. Many people spend years trying to improve without knowing their strengths, weaknesses, passions, or purpose. Maxwell explains that self-awareness is the foundation of all personal growth. If you don't know where you are, you cannot create a map to where you want to go. Story: The Man Who Couldn't Remember Yesterday. Maxwell introduces the real-life story of Henry Molaison, Henry M. A man who underwent brain surgery to treat severe epilepsy. The surgery stopped his seizures, but it caused a tragic side effect. Henry could no longer create new memories. Every morning felt like his first day. He didn't remember conversations. He couldn't remember meals. He solved the same puzzles every day because he forgot he had already completed them. His life was frozen in time. Maxwell uses Henry's story as a powerful metaphor. Many people live exactly the same way. Not because they lost their memory, but because they never stopped to learn from yesterday. Without self-awareness, growth becomes impossible. 3 types of people. 1. People who don't know what they want. They drift through life without direction. 2. People who know what they want but never act. Fear, comfort, or excuses stop them. 3. People who know their purpose and take action. These people continue growing until they become fulfilled. The 10 questions that change your life. Maxwell encourages readers to ask themselves questions such as: do I enjoy what I'm doing now? What work truly excites me? Am I naturally good at it? Why do I want to do it? What skills must I develop? Who can mentor me? Am I willing to pay the price? When will I start? These questions help you discover your passion and build a practical plan for growth. Story: Bobby's Dream. Maxwell tells the story of Bobby, a church worship leader who admitted that his dream was to become the announcer for the Chicago Cubs baseball team. The problem wasn't that Bobby had a dream. The problem was that his dream didn't match his talents or opportunities. Maxwell explains that real growth happens when your passion, abilities, and purpose work together. A dream without preparation is only a wish. Lesson from Chapter 2. Success begins with honesty. Know your strengths. Accept your weaknesses. Discover your passion. Take action before you feel completely ready. As Maxwell reminds us, there are 2 great days in a person's life: the day you are born, and the day you discover why. Chapter 3, The Law of the Mirror. You must see value in yourself to add value to yourself. Main idea. Before you can improve your life, you must first believe that you are worth improving. According to John C. Maxwell, many people fail not because they lack talent or opportunity, but because they have low self-esteem. They constantly doubt themselves, compare themselves with others, and believe they are not capable of success. If you don't value yourself, you will never invest time, effort, or energy into becoming better. Story: Jonetta's Transformation. Maxwell tells the inspiring story of Jonetta McSwain. Jonetta had an incredibly difficult childhood. She was abandoned by her mother, abused physically and emotionally, dropped out of school, lived in poverty, depended on government assistance, and believed she had no future. By the age of 30, she had no career, no confidence, and no hope. Then, on her 30th birthday, she looked honestly at her life. She realized that if she continued living the same way, her children would likely repeat the same cycle of failure. That moment became her turning point. She decided to change her self-image before changing her circumstances. She returned to school, developed new skills, built confidence, and completely transformed her life. The lesson: your past does not determine your future. The moment you begin believing in your own value, your growth begins. Why people don't value themselves. Maxwell explains that low self-esteem often comes from negative childhood experiences, constant criticism, comparing ourselves with others, fear of failure, focusing only on weaknesses. These beliefs become invisible limits that stop people from reaching their potential. How to build self-value. Maxwell encourages readers to 1. Guard your self-talk. Replace thoughts like, I can't, I'm not smart enough, with, I can learn, I can improve. 2. Stop comparing yourself. There will always be someone richer, smarter, or more talented. Your competition is who you were yesterday, not someone else. 3. Focus on your strengths. Every person has unique gifts. Success comes from developing those strengths instead of constantly worrying about weaknesses. 4. Surround yourself with positive people. Your environment influences how you see yourself. Spend time with people who encourage growth instead of destroying confidence. Practical lesson. Every morning ask yourself, what is one thing I can improve today? Small improvements every day create extraordinary confidence over time. Chapter 4, The Law of Reflection. Learning to pause allows growth to catch up with you. Main idea. Most people are busy every day, but very few actually stop and think about what they have learned. Maxwell teaches that experience alone is not the best teacher, evaluated experience is. If you never reflect on your successes and failures, you will keep repeating the same mistakes. Reflection turns experience into wisdom. Story, The Lumberjack. Imagine two lumberjacks competing to cut down the most trees. The first man works non-stop from morning until evening. The second man stops every hour. The first lumberjack laughs and thinks, he's wasting time resting. But at the end of the day, the second lumberjack wins. Why? Because every time he stopped, he sharpened his axe. Reflection works the same way. Taking time to think may seem like slowing down, but it actually makes you more effective. Reflection creates better decisions. Maxwell explains that reflection helps us learn from mistakes instead of repeating them, recognize opportunities we previously missed, understand why we succeeded, make wiser decisions in the future. Without reflection, life becomes a cycle of activity without improvement. Questions to ask yourself every day. Maxwell recommends asking questions like, what did I learn today? What mistake did I make? What went well? What should I do differently tomorrow? Who helped me today? How can I become 1% better? These simple questions help transform ordinary days into valuable learning experiences. The reflection habit. Many successful leaders spend a few quiet minutes every day thinking, writing, or reviewing their experiences. Some keep a journal. Others walk alone. Some simply sit quietly before sleeping. The important thing is not how you reflect, but that you do reflect consistently. Practical lesson. Spend 10 to 15 minutes every evening reviewing your day. Ask yourself, what did I learn? What should I stop doing? What should I continue doing? What is my most important improvement for tomorrow? Over months and years, this simple habit becomes one of the greatest drivers of personal growth. Chapter 5, The Law of Consistency. Motivation gets you going. Discipline keeps you growing. Main idea. Many people believe they need to feel motivated before they take action. John C. Maxwell argues the opposite. Motivation is temporary, but discipline creates lasting success. People who rely only on inspiration make progress occasionally. People who build disciplined daily habits continue growing even when they don't feel like it. The secret to personal growth is not doing something extraordinary once in a while. It's doing ordinary things consistently over a long period. Story, The Musician Who Never Missed Practice. Imagine two young pianists. The first practices only when he feels inspired. Some weeks he practices 5 hours a day, and other weeks he doesn't touch the piano. The second practices just 1 hour every single day, whether he feels motivated or not. After 5 years, who becomes the better musician? The second one. Not because he had more talent, but because consistency beat motivation. Maxwell says personal growth works exactly the same way. Why discipline wins? Discipline creates habits, builds confidence, produces steady improvement, continues even when motivation disappears. Successful people don't ask, "Do I feel like doing this today?" They ask, "What must I do today to become the person I want to become?" How to build consistency. 1. Start small. Read 10 pages every day. Exercise 20 minutes. Learn one new idea daily. Small actions become powerful habits. 2. Make growth a daily appointment. Schedule time for learning just like an important meeting. If growth isn't on your calendar, it usually won't happen. 3. Never miss twice. Everyone has bad days. Missing one day is a mistake. Missing 2 days begins a habit. Return immediately. Practical lesson. Ask yourself every morning, what one action can I complete today that moves me closer to my goal? Success is simply thousands of small daily victories. Chapter 6, The Law of Environment. Growth thrives in conducive surroundings. Main idea. Your environment shapes your future. Maxwell explains that even talented people struggle if they stay in environments that discourage learning, while ordinary people often achieve extraordinary success because they surround themselves with positive influences. Your friends, workplace, books, mentors, and daily habits either help you grow or slowly hold you back. Story: The Eagle Raised with Chickens. A farmer found an eagle's egg and placed it in a chicken's nest. The eagle hatched and grew up among chickens. It scratched the ground for food. It flapped only a few feet into the air. One day, it looked up and saw a magnificent eagle soaring high above the mountains. It asked, "Who is that?" The chickens replied, "That's the king of birds. But don't dream about flying like him. We're just chickens." The eagle believed them. It lived its whole life like a chicken, never realizing it had been born to fly. Maxwell's message is powerful. Your environment can convince you that you're ordinary even when you have extraordinary potential. Signs of a healthy growth environment. A good environment encourages learning, challenges you to improve, introduces you to successful people, celebrates progress, supports your dreams instead of mocking them. A bad environment complains constantly, discourages ambition, accepts mediocrity, avoids responsibility, makes excuses. Build your growth environment. Read great books. Books allow you to learn from people you may never meet. Find mentors. Learn from people who are already where you want to be. Choose positive friends. You often become like the people you spend the most time with. Remove negative influences. Limit time with people who constantly complain, criticize, or discourage your goals. Practical lesson. Take 5 minutes today and write down the names of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Ask yourself, do they inspire me? Do they challenge me? Do they encourage growth? If the answer is mostly no, it may be time to intentionally build a better environment. Chapter 7, The Law of Design. To maximize growth, develop strategies. Main idea. Growth never happens by accident. If you want to reach your potential, you need a clear plan. John C. Maxwell explains that successful people don't simply hope for a better future, they design one. They create daily routines, set goals, manage their time wisely, and follow a system that helps them improve consistently. A dream without a plan remains only a wish. Story: Building a house. Imagine 2 people who want to build a beautiful house. The first person buys bricks, wood, and cement and immediately starts building without a blueprint. Every day he changes his mind. Soon the walls don't fit together, the roof doesn't match, and eventually the project fails. The second person spends time designing the house first. He creates a blueprint, gathers the right materials, and follows the plan step by step. Months later, the house is completed successfully. Your life works the same way. Without a plan, you waste time, energy, and opportunities. With a clear design, every small action moves you closer to your goal. 4 steps to designing your growth. 1. Know your destination. Ask yourself, who do I want to become in 5 years? Your daily action should move you toward that person. 2. Set priorities. Not every activity deserves your time. Spend more time on what creates long-term value. 3. Build daily systems. Instead of saying, I'll read when I have time, say, I read every morning from 7 to 7:30. Systems beat intentions. 4. Review and improve. Every week ask, what's working? What's wasting my time? What should I change? Great plans improve over time. Practical lesson. Write your personal growth plan. Include 1 book to read, 1 skill to develop, 1 mentor to learn from, 1 habit to improve, 1 daily action you'll never skip. Chapter 8, The Law of Pain. Good management of bad experiences leads to great growth. Main idea. Everyone experiences pain. The difference is that some people allow pain to make them bitter, while others allow it to make them better. Maxwell explains that painful experiences often become our greatest teachers if we choose to learn from them. Pain itself doesn't make you stronger. Learning from pain does. Story: Maxwell's leadership failure. Early in his leadership career, Maxwell made several poor decisions that disappointed people and damaged relationships. At first, he felt embarrassed and discouraged. He had 2 choices: quit and blame others. Accept responsibility, learn from his mistakes, and become a better leader. He chose the second option. Those painful experiences became some of his greatest lessons, helping him lead millions of people more effectively in the future. Why pain can be valuable. Pain teaches us humility, patience, compassion, wisdom, resilience. Many successful people say they learn more from 1 failure than from years of success. How successful people handle pain. 1. Accept reality. Don't pretend the pain doesn't exist. Face it honestly. 2. Ask better questions. Instead of asking, why did this happen to me? Ask, what can this teach me? 3. Grow through it. Every setback contains a lesson. Sometimes failure prepares you for future success. 4. Help others. The lessons you learn from pain can encourage someone facing the same struggle. Your greatest message often comes from your greatest test. Example. Imagine 2 university students who fail the same exam. The first says, I'm just not smart enough. He gives up. The second says, I need a better study strategy. He changes his habits, studies harder, and passes the next exam. Both experienced the same failure. Only one experienced growth. Practical lesson. Think about 1 difficult experience in your life. Write down. What happened? What did it teach you? How did it make you stronger? How can you use that lesson to help someone else? Pain becomes valuable only when it produces wisdom. Chapter 9, The Law of the Ladder. Character growth determines the height of your personal growth. Main idea. Many people believe that talent is the key to success. John C. Maxwell disagrees. He explains that talent may open the first door, but character determines how far you will go. Character is your foundation. Without honesty, discipline, humility, and integrity, success cannot last. Talent can make you famous. Character helps you stay successful. Story: The Two Businessmen. Two friends started businesses at the same time. The first was extremely talented. He attracted many customers, but he lied to clients, broke promises, and cared only about money. Soon people stopped trusting him, and his business failed. The second businessman wasn't as naturally gifted, but he was honest, dependable, and always kept his word. Customers trusted him, recommended him to others, and his business grew every year. The difference wasn't talent. It was character. Maxwell says that character is the ladder that determines how high your success can climb. Why character matters. Character helps you build trust, make wise decisions, stay humble during success, remain strong during failure, earn long-term respect. Without character, success eventually collapses. Qualities of strong character. 1. Integrity. Do the right thing even when no one is watching. 2. Responsibility. Accept your mistakes instead of blaming others. 3. Humility. Keep learning, no matter how successful you become. 4. Self-discipline. Choose what is right instead of what is easy. Practical lesson. Every evening ask yourself, did I keep my promises today? Was I honest? Did I treat people with respect? What part of my character should I improve tomorrow? Small improvements in character lead to lifelong success. Chapter 10. The Law of the Rubber Band. Growth stops when you lose the tension between where you are and where you could be. Main idea. Imagine a rubber band. A rubber band is useful only when it is stretched. The moment it loses its tension, it becomes useless. Maxwell says personal growth works exactly the same way. If you become too comfortable, you stop improving. The gap between your current reality and your future potential creates the tension that pushes you to grow. Story: The Comfortable Employee. A young engineer got his dream job. During his first year, he learned new skills, worked hard, and accepted every challenge. After receiving a promotion, he became comfortable. He stopped reading, stopped learning, stopped improving. 5 years later, new employees had more knowledge than he did. His career stopped growing, not because he lacked ability, but because he became comfortable. Comfort became his biggest obstacle. Comfort is the enemy of growth. Growth requires leaving your comfort zone. Every new challenge feels uncomfortable at first. Learning a language, starting a business, speaking in public, leading a team. These activities create tension, but they also create growth. How to keep growing. 1. Keep challenging yourself. Always learn a new skill. Never believe you've arrived. 2. Set bigger goals. Once you achieve one goal, create another. Growth never ends. 3. Welcome discomfort. Feeling uncomfortable usually means you're learning something new. Don't run from challenges. Grow through them. 4. Stay curious. Ask questions. Read books. Meet successful people. Never stop being a student. Example. Think about going to the gym. Lifting light weights forever never builds strength. Muscles grow only when they are challenged. Your mind grows the same way. Without challenge, there is no growth. Practical lesson. Ask yourself, what challenge have I been avoiding? What skill scares me the most? What would I attempt if I weren't afraid? Then take one small step today. Chapter 11, The Law of Trade-offs. You have to give up to grow up. Main idea. Every worthwhile achievement has a price. John C. Maxwell explains that growth always requires sacrifice. You cannot have everything at the same time. If you want a better future, you must be willing to give up comfort, distractions, and sometimes even good opportunities to pursue the best ones. Many people dream about success, but very few are willing to pay the price. Story: The Olympic Athlete. Imagine a young athlete who dreams of winning an Olympic gold medal. While his friends spend weekends partying, he wakes up before sunrise to train. He follows a strict diet. He misses holidays. He practices every day, even when he is tired. People only see the medal. They don't see the thousands of sacrifices behind it. Maxwell's lesson is simple. Success is never free. Every dream demands a price. What must we trade? 1. Comfort for growth. Growth begins where comfort ends. 2. Entertainment for learning. Sometimes 1 hour of reading is more valuable than several hours on social media. 3. Immediate pleasure for long-term success. Successful people delay small pleasures to achieve bigger rewards later. 4. Good choices for great choices. Sometimes you must say no to good opportunities so you can say yes to the best opportunity. Questions to ask yourself. What habit is slowing my growth? What comfort am I unwilling to leave? What must I give up to become the person I want to be? Practical lesson. Write down 1 habit you will stop this week and 1 habit you will start. Remember, every yes to your dream requires a no to something else. Chapter 12, The Law of Curiosity. Growth is stimulated by asking why. Main idea. Curiosity is one of the greatest engines of personal growth. Children naturally ask hundreds of questions because they are eager to understand the world. As adults, many people stop asking questions, and when curiosity disappears, learning slows down. Maxwell teaches that people who continue asking questions continue growing. Story: Thomas Edison. As a child, Thomas Edison constantly asked questions. Teachers sometimes thought he asked too many. Instead of accepting simple answers, he wanted to know why things worked. That curiosity eventually led him to become one of history's greatest inventors, holding more than 1,000 patents. His success began with 1 habit. He never stopped asking questions. Curious people grow faster. Curious people read more books, meet new people, explore different ideas, learn from failure, welcome change. They see every experience as an opportunity to learn. How to develop curiosity. 1. Ask better questions. Instead of saying, "I already know this," ask, "What else can I learn?" 2. Read outside your field. If you're an engineer, read psychology. If you're a business owner, study history. Great ideas often come from combining different fields. 3. Talk to interesting people. Everyone knows something you don't. Listen more than you speak. 4. Stay teachable. The moment you believe you know everything, your growth stops. Remain a lifelong student. Example. Imagine 2 employees attending the same training. The first listens quietly and leaves. The second asks questions, takes notes, and talks with the instructor afterward. 1 month later, the second employee has learned far more, not because he is smarter, but because he was curious. Practical lesson. Every day ask yourself these 3 questions. What did I learn today? What surprised me today? What question should I explore tomorrow? Those 3 questions can transform ordinary days into lifelong learning. Chapter 13, The Law of Modeling. It's hard to improve when you have no one but yourself to follow. Main idea. One of the fastest ways to grow is to learn from someone who has already achieved what you want to achieve. John C. Maxwell explains that mentors shorten your learning curve. Instead of spending years making the same mistakes, you can learn from the experience of others. Success leaves clues. Find people who are already living the life you want, study their habits, and apply their lessons. Story: The Young Carpenter. A young carpenter wanted to become a master builder. He had 2 choices. The first was to work alone, making mistakes and learning everything through trial and error. The second was to work beside an experienced master carpenter. He chose the second option. Every day he observed how the master measured carefully, selected the best materials, and solved difficult problems. After several years, the student became an excellent builder, not because he was more talented, but because he learned from someone who had already mastered the craft. Maxwell says personal growth works the same way. Mentors help you avoid years of unnecessary mistakes. Why mentors matter? A good mentor helps you learn faster, avoid costly mistakes, gain confidence, see opportunities you might miss, stay accountable. The right mentor doesn't just teach information. They teach wisdom. How to find a mentor. 1. Look for experience. Choose someone who has achieved results, not just someone who gives advice. 2. Stay teachable. A mentor can only help someone who is willing to learn. 3. Respect their time. Prepare thoughtful questions before meeting them. Apply what they teach. 4. Learn from books. If you can't meet successful people personally, read their books, watch their interviews, and study their lives. Books are mentors that never stop teaching. Practical lesson. Ask yourself, who is one person I admire? What habits make them successful? What can I begin copying this week? Remember, success becomes easier when you follow someone who has already walked the path. Chapter 14, The Law of Expansion. Growing yourself enables you to grow others. Main idea. Personal growth is not only for your own benefit. As you become wiser, stronger, and more skilled, you gain the ability to help other people grow. Maxwell explains that leadership is multiplying yourself. The greatest leaders don't create followers. They create more leaders. Story, The Candle. Imagine a dark room with one candle burning. That candle lights another candle. Then another. Then another. The first candle doesn't lose its light by sharing it. Instead, the entire room becomes brighter. Knowledge works the same way. When you teach others, you don't lose what you've learned, you strengthen it. Why growing others matters. Helping others strengthens your own understanding, builds trust, creates future leaders, multiplies your influence, leaves a lasting legacy.